The idea of an AI running a company, it always feels like something straight out of science fiction, right? But what if I told you it's already moving from the script page into the boardroom? Today, we're not just talking about AI helping managers. We're going to look at an actual model for how to build an autonomous AI that is the manager. And trust me, the implications are absolutely staggering.
So let's just get right to the heart of it. Can an AI really run a company? I mean, can a machine actually handle the tough calls, manage teams of people, and set a vision for a whole organization? Well, the answer might not be what you're expecting.
Because the answer is, it's already happening. Just look at this. Since way back in 2014, companies have been appointing AI systems to senior roles. You've got Vital, Alicia T, Aiden Insight, and even Mika, who is a full-on humanoid robot CEO. This isn't some future concept we're dreaming about. The shift is already well underway.
And that brings us perfectly to our first section, AI in the boardroom. We are witnessing a pretty fundamental change here. AI is evolving from just being a tool that supports human directors to actually becoming the entity that controls the decision-making process itself.
Okay, so seeing these systems in charge brings up a huge question, right? If they already exist, how in the world do you even begin to build one? How do you teach a machine something as complex as corporate governance, ethics, and business strategy? Well, luckily, some really fascinating research gives us a blueprint.
And that leads us right to the blueprint for these AI managers. We're about to look under the hood at a model that breaks this whole enormous process down into clear, distinct, and kind of manageable parts.
So here they are, the 6 core building blocks. It all starts with creating a special dictionary for the AI. Then, you build its own little operational world with its own rules. After that, you generate a whole bunch of data to teach it right from wrong. Step 4 is the actual machine learning part. Then, you define how it makes its decisions. And finally, you have to design how it talks to us humans. We're going to zoom in on a couple of the most crucial steps here just to see how this works in the real world.
All right, let's start with the first major hurdle. How do you translate our often messy human rules into clean code? How do you teach an AI something as complex and, frankly, as nuanced as corporate law and company policy?
Well, the key concept here is called computational law. And what's so fascinating is that this is not a new idea. I mean, thinkers like Leibniz and Laplace dreamed about this centuries ago. This ability to turn complex legal ideas into a set of precise algorithms that a computer can just execute flawlessly.
And this slide just illustrates the difference perfectly. On the left, you've got a typical human policy. It's full of kind of vague words like avoid and potential. A person gets the gist, but a machine would be totally lost. Now look at the right. That's the AI version. It's a crystal clear, logical if-then statement. This is exactly what's meant by a dedicated operational context. You're creating a parallel set of rules just for the AI, leaving zero room for interpretation.
Okay, so the AI has its rulebook. That's great. But how does it learn to spot when those rules are actually being broken out in the wild? Well, this brings us to an incredible case study on how you train an AI to recognize bad behavior, using one of the most infamous corporate scandals in history, Enron.
So get this. Researchers at the Georgia Institute of Technology decided to dive into that massive trove of emails from the Enron scandal. Their goal was simple. Could they train a machine to spot the kind of sneaky wrongdoing that brought the whole company down, like managers cooking the books?
And the scale of this task was just, immense. The AI would eventually be tested on the entire Enron corpus, which has over 500,000 emails. Just think about that. How could an AI possibly sift through all that noise to find the tiny signal of wrongdoing?
So here's their absolutely ingenious solution. They found a real smoking gun email, right? But instead of just training the AI on that one example, which isn't enough, they used a language model to generate hundreds of new, totally synthetic emails that just mimic that bad behavior. This created a perfect, clean dataset to teach the AI exactly what to look for. Then they trained some standard machine learning models on this synthetic data and just unleashed it on all 517,000 real Enron emails. And the result? The AI, having never seen the original smoking gun email, flagged it perfectly. It found the needle in the haystack.
So, we've seen it's possible to build a rulebook for an AI, and even to train it to spot bad behavior. Let's zoom back out now and really consider the future of AI management. What does all of this actually mean for the workplace, and for us?
Well, one of the first questions is all about the interface. Should our new AI boss look like a person?
I mean, humanoid robots like Mika are familiar, sure, but they can get stuck in that uncanny valley and make us think they're conscious when they're not. On the other hand, a simple text or audio interface is just focused purely on information, and that might even reduce bias.
And, you know, when you actually ask the people who would use these systems, their preference is pretty clear. A survey of board members found that the huge majority would rather have a simple audio or text interface. It seems that for those really high-stakes corporate decisions, professionals just want clear, unbiased information over a friendly face.
All of this, though, it really leads to a much deeper, much more profound question. As we build these increasingly autonomous and intelligent systems, we are inching closer to what the philosopher David Chalmers and others call the technological singularity, that hypothetical point where machine intelligence actually surpasses our own. And if there's even a tiny chance of that happening, we have to think really, really carefully about the direction we're headed.
And that leaves us with one final, and I think critical question. The entire goal here is to build an AI manager that's better than us, more rational, less biased, more effective. But if we succeed, what values do we program into its core? What does better truly mean? That is the challenge we're facing right now as we design our future colleagues, and maybe our future bosses.